Good morning, good evening, good night. It's good to see you wherever you are. This is lesson number 7 inside the newsroom for Thursday, March 26th, right? All right, now, my people, happy Thursday. We've been steadily going through the ins and outs of the TV business as though we were Luke Skywalker inside of a tauntaun. Today, I'm taking you to my second home, the newsroom. This is where the majority of all journalism is done when you produce TV, right? You know the deal by now. I teach you a different media tech lesson each and every single day. This one's no different. And how do we do that without cameras and editing equipment? Well, we do it the Heinz way, right? So let's kick on hyperdrive and go to Lightspeed. Anyway, each day you'll have a warm-up and a short video from me, some notes in Google Classroom, and an assignment to make sure you know the material. Don't worry, I'm not gonna burn your day away trying to get you to learn this, that, and the other thing. All I really want you to do is kind of learn the lesson and absorb the information. Once you get that, you're all good, right? So we're gonna have a warm-up every day. You'll have this video, which you're watching, and you're gonna have a short assignment. Pretty easy, right? I think so. All right, punch it, Chewy. Let's get started with jobs inside a TV newsroom. Don't get cocky, kid. The first thing you need to know about a TV newsroom is this. It's either as laid back as a day at the beach, or it can be rush hour on I-26. There really isn't an in-between. Walk into most newsrooms on a Saturday morning, and you literally will be so quiet you could take a nap. I'm not saying that I have taken a nap on a Saturday morning in a newsroom. Okay, yeah, I'm saying I've taken naps on a Saturday morning in a newsroom. But, God forbid there's ever breaking news, and you really don't want news to break because that's usually bad news. But the newsroom can get as active as a beehive when that happens. So what kind of jobs would you find in the newsroom? It's pretty easy. Let me break them down for you. The first job, news director. Now, this is not the same person you see actually directing a newscast. This person is the boss in the newsroom. They've usually made all the hires and they do all the firing. They provide the direction of which way they want the newsroom to operate. It's their baby, their vision. They're the architect, and they hire all the builders and painters to make that beautiful cathedral out of every newscast. So they're the 800-pound gorilla who run the show. Directly under the news director is the assistant news director. While the big boss is controlling everything, the assistant news director concentrates on the tiny details and the overall newscast. Is the producer building the show right? Is the reporter on the scene yet? Is the editor getting all the video they need? Does the weather department need more time? The assistant news director often proofreads the show to make sure that what they will be airing is correct. Sometimes these jobs can also coincide with an executive producer who kind of does the same things sometimes. Sometimes you'll have both of these jobs going in the same newsroom. Sometimes you only have one or the other. It just really depends on what kind of newsroom you're running. By the way, you want to see a kid pic from me? All right, let's take a look. Here's one when I was 17. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I was bad. Here's another one. Look at that drip. No one can rock a brown suit like I could. Now we really get to the worker bees in a newsroom, all right? The producer of the show takes all the stories that are available to run and stacks them in order of importance in the show. They then tell each person writing or reporting the story how much time they have for each story. Most typical newscasts run 30 minutes long. Take out commercials, and that usually leaves 22 or 23 minutes of content. Each person does their job with the time allotted. Now here at the high school, Hawk's Eye View runs about 10 minutes, and the reason we do that is mainly so the teachers have a lot of time to teach, and then we can give you 10 good minutes of content so you can be informed and hopefully entertained, right? Now, of that 10 minutes, I can't give Vance 5, right? Vance would love 5 minutes, and for that matter, sports would love 5 as well. But if I gave Vance 5 and sports 5, there's nothing left for all the important information that you're gonna need to know. So what we do is we assign stories in order of importance. And then when we do that, we will also give them a time, like try and stick to this time or another. So we visually try and kind of map out how much each story will be as a part of that 10 minutes. The same thing works in a newsroom. They assign stories and a time for each of those stories. All right, we've talked about anchors and reporters. You guys probably have a pretty good understanding of what those guys do when they're on the news desk. There's some other jobs, though, that you may want to know. Camera people. Also called videographers or video journalists, they capture B-roll and interviews for stories in the newscast. The assignment editor. This is one of the more major and essential operations in the newsroom. They're the ones who let the producer know what stories are available and which crews are out shooting these stories. They are the brains of the operation. They control the news gathering operation and have to be extremely organized. They also sit around all day on social media and listening to police and EMS scanners while answering phones to make sure that breaking news gets covered. You also have editors who'll edit down stories. They'll pull file video for the newscast. I was one of those guys as well once when I was a young buck. There you go. That's circa mid-90s, back in that 20th century. Bigger newsrooms will have writers to help with scripts, and associate producers will help with various things the producer might need, like getting updated scripts to the anchors. Add in weather, you know what those guys do. Add in sports, of course you know what those guys do. And you've got a pretty decent news operation, right? All right, all in all, it's a very complicated engine, but everybody knows their role, and it kind of works really well, kind of like a NASCAR. Especially when details are coming fast and furious before a show is ready to air. That's when it really, really is humming. All right, so the assignment today. You good on all this? Here's what we got. Write a short one-page paper, single space, no font larger than 16. I know. On which newsroom job you think would be the hardest and why. Also include which job interests you the most. Pretty easy, right? Also make sure you get your warm-up done. Now with all this free time, I'm sure you're caught up on the gram, so here's some ideas for you. You know I'm coming with a quote. This is from my man Winston Churchill. This is the second quote we got from him. If you're going through hell, keep going. And here's what he meant, right? He meant we're in some strange times, right? I've never seen anything like this before, so just keep going. Don't give up. Life always gets better. It always does. So if you're not having a good time right now, just keep going. Plugging away. We'll get there, all right? I promise you. All right, so we're talking about jobs, all these jobs that are required to do any sort of newscast in a newsroom, right? So it's fitting that the movie recommendation today is this.
I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
Star Wars.
Now the Jedi are all but extinct.
You have to see it. I mean, it's iconic. And much like a newsroom, it's filled with a cast of characters. You ready for a song? What else? Pearl Jam. It's my favorite song, Better Man. The lead singer, Eddie Vedder, wrote it when he was about your age, and it's a true story. Give it a listen. And finally, if you want a book recommendation, When Pride Still Mattered, by David Marinis. The book is about the legendary football coach Vince Lombardi and his desire to succeed. If you love sports or football, then I guarantee you'll enjoy this book. I absolutely loved it. My challenge for you today, do something good for somebody. Take out the trash, wash somebody's car, pick up some litter, do something really good for somebody that will make their day brighter. Be a part of the greater good, all right? That's all I have for today. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about different kinds of jobs on the other side of television, the production side, all right? Now, get back to your Fortnite or your Minecraft, whatever the heck you're gonna do. But please, would you please clean your room? Please, it's a pigsty. Please, just clean it. Just pick up your clothes. That's all I'm asking.